Hello, everyone. We are here for the October Akashic Energies. We are going to be seeing what the Akashic Records have to say for the month of October around creativity, how we can best use our creativity. This is collective energy, so of course, take what resonates and leave the rest. If you are tuning in, happen to find this video like 3 years, 5 years down the road, this is specifically for September 20. Oh my gosh, this is for October 2025. So confused. Time is flying. This energy is for October 2025, but if you for some reason felt called to click on this video in March of 2027, trust that there's something in it for you. I do always pull a few cards before going into the records. And today I pulled one card, but then two cards fell out. So we're just going to go with those first. This is from my Wisdom Keeper's Inner Guidebook, which is an oracle deck and cards from by Rosie Aronson, based off of the 64 Gene Keys. It's one of my favorite oracle decks. And because I do human design work too, I like to tie in my human design work into these readings through this. So the two cards that fell out of the deck we have the 33 and the 13. And this is the energy of mindfulness and discernment. In human design, this is throat energy. So being able to retreat so that we can process our thoughts and come back to share them with the world. And then the 13 is G center energy. So this is like direction, heart energy. And it's all about being able to really tune in to what feels most aligned for you and move from that direction and really listen inward. The really fascinating thing I thought about this, because these two fell out, is that these are actually part of a channel in human design. This is the 1333 channel, if you're familiar with human design. So these energies actually work together. If you had the 1333 channel, for instance, they work together to create this channel of energy from the throat to the G center. And so because these two energies fell out, it really does feel like it's so important for us to make time for retreat. They look like a couple. They do kind of look like a couple. You're right, Phila. Um, they do, I lost my train of thought there. They do work together. So really being able to retreat, use that energy of retreat when we feel it come up so that we can tune in to what our heart is telling us and then being able to come back out and speak that out to whoever needs to hear it. It's going to be important energy this month. And then I also drew another throat gate. For those of you familiar with human design, this is the actual card I drew. I drew the 31, which is all about leadership energy. This is throat energy, so speaking our truth. It really feels like, so this energy is about speaking for the tribe, speaking for the collective, and making choices that will support everyone. Like it's like democratic leadership. So instead of moving from a place of arrogance, which is the shadow of this gene key, really moving forward from a place of that democratic leadership that will support everyone. And I was really thinking about this like from terms of like a personal perspective, like tuning in to what is really best for you and making choices from a place of leadership within yourself, speaking that out to others, but also in your communities. I'm also curious to see how this will show up collectively because there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. So we do have a lot of throat energy present this month, speaking our truths, speaking with mindfulness, retreating before speaking. And then we have this energy of really tuning in and listening to our hearts and processing what is really aligned for us before moving forward. So that is what the cards have to say. We're going to go into the Akashic Records and see what happens. These readings are usually about 15 to 20 minutes, but we'll see. I do close my eyes while channeling, so FYI. All right. The Akashic Records are open for the collective consciousness, calling in all the angels, guides, ancestors, and anyone else for our highest, truest, and gentlest good only. And Akashic Records, please share with all who are here in person, as well as those who will show up and watch the recording, what we need to know for the October of 2025. How can we best use the energy of October to move forward most creatively, to move forward in our highest alignment, and to just make the most of this energy? No, I'm actually paranoid. Did I actually record? Yeah, I'm recording this. Okay. I was like, am I recording this? And I wonder because I'm in the records while I had that thought, if there's some sort of message around like that paranoia of like, did I actually do that? Did I actually do that? Um, and and what's coming through, of course, is that energy of trust. And this is coming off of, we're coming off of eclipse season. For those of you unfamiliar with astrology, this is a huge season in the year that happens twice a year that can have a huge impact on people. Very prominent energies, very intense energies. And because the North Node is in Pisces right now, which is all about intuition and trust and leaning deeper into that self trust, which the eclipse axis is based off of the nodal axis, the eclipse season. Um, there's been a huge and there was a huge energy in September of self trust with the eclipse season, and we're deepening into that in October. Like it's like it started off in with the eclipse season, just really bringing us into this energy, and now we're past that. But the energy is continuing to ask us to deepen into this self trust, into this intuitive self trust as we come into October. And so, what's coming around is that message where I was like, did I record? Did I record? I need to double check. The message that this personal experience is coming through for the collective of like, do you really need to double check though? Could I have really like sunk into that energy of that I could trust that I recorded and it's all good? Um, where are you, and this is for everybody, where are you placing too much emphasis on the scene? What do you see in front of you? What do you see happening? What do you see going on in the world? Especially because there is a lot of challenging things going on in the world at a collective level. There's also many of you tuning into this have a lot of challenging things happening in your personal lives. There's a lot of contrast. There's a lot of um, I'm pulling in something that was this is I'm trusting that this is okay to share, but someone who was on the call, won't name any names, said before we started recording, life isn't going the way I thought it would. And that is 100% this energy of trusting in the unseen, of being able to release that control of do I can't see what's coming. I can't see what's going on. I can't see. It's not going how I thought it would. I don't like this. My ego, my mind, my everything is screaming out for safety and knowing. And yet there is so much miraculous energy on the other end. There is so much miraculous energy on the other end. And we're speaking about this personally and we're speaking about this collectively too. And that does not mean that you need to bypass any scary feelings that are coming up, because that is called spiritual bypassing and that does not help us get to the other end. Um, we want to acknowledge that there are some really tough things happening out there, personally, globally. And we do not want to, in saying we want you to deepen into that self-trust, we are not saying to completely ignore the 3D. We want you to deepen into that self-trust by completely being present and experiencing the 3D and all the discomforts that are coming up as they come up, and to honor them, because that is how you alchemize energy. You cannot alchemize energy if you are ignoring what's happening around you. You cannot. You just keep creating the same problems over and over again in different ways. You keep responding to the problems, to the experiences happening outside of you in the same ways. And you see, to really get creative around the things going on in your life, the things that you can control, as well as the things that are outside of your control, you have to alchemize the pain and the fear. And we see there is such deep self-trust. There is such deep self-trust in being able to alchemize that fear, being able to reach it and touch it. There are so many people on this planet who will never, ever, ever, ever get to that place because they are crippled by fear. And that is okay. That is not their journey. We sense that if you are tuning into this message, you are probably someone who is willing to go there at some level. This goes back to that 13 that Britta was talking about, that discernment, that deep listening, that deep inner listening, being able to retreat, to really listen into what is needed. And sometimes what is needed is to have a very good cry, to vent out to your best friend about all the things that are going wrong. Not to live in it, not to dwell in it. This is not that does not serve you either, but you have to find a way to release the pain and the experiences that are happening. Whether you're mourning your own personal life, things that haven't gone the way you thought they would personally, or whether perhaps there's also some of you tuning into this who aren't having a big problem with your personal life, but you're feeling the collective, you're watching the news, you're seeing what's going on in the world, and you feel gutted because of that. So whether it is a personal release or more, a more collective mourning, or maybe it's a combination of both, this is truly a month to not ignore what your body is truly telling you to do. And sometimes that is to have a big cry and to release what isn't serving in that way. Other times it's to go out and have fun. It's to alchemize that energy of pain, that energy of discomfort, that energy of tuning deeper into intuitive self-trust. Other times that's going and having a cup of coffee with a friend, or getting some ice cream, or going to a party. Not all healing has to be heavy. That is something that more and more people in the collective are starting to wake up to. That yes, there are heavy moments and we want to honor them and we want to process them, but we also want to honor that sometimes the best healing happens when you're having fun. And when you're connecting to your inner child in really playful ways. And when you're allowing yourself, this is really key, because there's a lot of times when people are going through hard times, or when they are witnessing hard times in the world, they can feel guilty about having fun because you feel like you have to focus on the heaviness all the time. Like that's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to focus on the heaviness and to work through that heaviness with your mind logically, but that doesn't work. You can't work through the heaviness with your mind. You have to feel it in your body. And you also have to allow yourself to have those moments of fun, to balance out the heaviness with the fun. And October is Libra season for the majority of the month. And for those of you familiar with astrology, yes, Libra is the balance, it's the scales. And so it is just in terms of the wheel of the year, this is a time of coming into deeper balance at the collective level every year. Regardless of the specific astrology of this year, it is a time every year at the beginning of October, end of no September. It is a time of finding deeper balance because it is Libra season. And so, how can you find that balance between the heaviness and the light? Allowing yourself to go to the deep depths when you need to, and allowing yourself to have fun, because it is being able to balance those that will really, really support you this year and being, or this month, with us this year, for to really process through some of those to really listen to yourself and process through any feelings that need to be processed, to speak out your truth. We're also going back to that leadership that Britta pulled, to be a leader for yourself, to speak up for yourself, and to also, this is going to be different for everyone because some of you are like leaders in your communities, um, where you actually do have active leadership roles, and others if you are not so much in leadership community in leadership roles, but like work try the leadership in yourself and make the choice for yourself. Make those choices, speak those choices out from a place of leadership. And even those of you who don't identify with being a leader so much, when you can speak up for yourself and lead yourself in really aligned ways, that is inspiring to others. There are so many different ways to lead. They all matter. They all have value. But you get to choose this month how you show up in that. When you listen inward to what is needed, when you speak that out with mindfulness, that that is going to be the bread and butter of this month. And that is where the miracles will start to come in, because there is a lot of really, we've been focusing a lot on heavy energy, and we've been doing that because there is a lot of heavy energy collected present in the collective, um, at the individual level and at the global level, and that it needs to be acknowledged. And yet it is through processing the heavy energy, that miracles will can come. Miracles can be on offer, but you have to process it. You have to be able to 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 feel and trust what is best for you in each moment without necessarily seeing the uh, outcome ahead of you. We've been through eclipse season a lot. There there's a lot of smoothing out on offer now that eclipse season is over. So like if things felt stagnant or stuck during eclipse season, like there is so much opportunity for you to smooth that out and to like actually get momentum going. And that's where breakthroughs can happen, is by allowing that momentum to take you where it's meant to take you. And yet, especially because of the North Node in Pisces, that deep intuitive self-trust, you have to be willing to surrender to the unknown. You have to be willing to surrender to trusting yourself. You have to be willing to surrender to feeling those deep feelings when it feels aligned, and to allow yourself to have fun when that is right too. Because nobody knows you better than you. And this is not the time to be looking externally for answers. Yes, you can seek support. Yes, you can, ask for help. Yes, you can. Um, there are so many resources out there available to support you in tuning back into you. But the 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 absolute biggest thing that you can do for yourself this October, as well as, well, the nodal axis is on the Virgo Pisces axis. Just like, this is really for this whole nodal journey with Pisces in the North Node, but especially this month coming off of this eclipse season, especially this month because Saturn is still retrograde in Pisces too. The best thing you can do for yourself this month is to trust yourself. To trust yourself to take the forward movement, even if it doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like. To trust yourself to take those nudges that make no sense, but like for some reason you just know it's right. To do the things that maybe you feel resistant to because that's not what you imagined your life to look like. Do it all from a place of deep inner listening and inner knowing, from a place of deep self-trust, from a place of leadership. Like, you get to lead yourself this month. You get to lead yourself. There has been a lot of 2025 for a lot of people has felt very sticky. One thing after another. Feels like you're making progress and then you're not. It feels like things are going great and then you're not. It feels like you keep running into the same problems over and over again. Um, and September's eclipse really helped to clear that out for a lot of you. And now it's time to take the action. This is a month where beautiful things can happen. Prime energy for manifesting miracles. However, if you are so attached to the way that miracle is supposed to look, you are not going to succeed. I mean, you might. We don't want to say you won't. You might, but there will be some cost. Tune inward, listen, discern, be mindful. The words from those cards, and you will be a leader for yourself and for the world. And the world needs that more than ever. Because if you're watching the news and you're thinking that the leaders of the world aren't being actual leaders, if you're watching the news and you're thinking, what the heck? Who's leading this world? What is going on? Why are all these things happening? You get to be the leader of your life. You can't control what's going on out there, but you get to move from that place of deep self-trust. This is the month to step up and make shit happen. Surrender to the outcome. Trust yourself. Trust that it doesn't have to look like what you think it's going to look like. It's probably going to be better. This is how we manifest miracles in October. Oh, we are so delighted that you have made time for us today. We will see you next month. Much love. The Akashic Records are closed. All right, I'm gonna, how do I stop this? I see somebody's also in the waiting room. Stop the recording.